A salamander can lose its entire leg and grow it back. Bone, muscle, nerves, skin, all of it. A starfish can lose an arm and regenerate it in months. You cut your finger, and your body's best response is a scar. But here's the thing. The genetic instructions to regrow a limb are inside you right now. They're sitting in your DNA. They've been there your whole life. They're just switched off. And nobody fully understands why. Let's start with what your body actually does when it's damaged. Because it's not nothing. It's just not enough. When you cut your skin, your body launches a repair sequence that involves over a dozen cell types working together. Platelets rush to the wound and form a clot within seconds. White blood cells flood the area to kill bacteria. Fibroblasts begin laying down collagen, a structural protein that pulls the edges of the wound together. Within days, new skin cells migrate across the gap. Within weeks, the surface is closed. But look at what actually happened. Your body didn't rebuild what was there. It patched the hole. That scar on your skin isn't new skin. It's filler. No hair follicles, no sweat glands. Nerve endings are at a fraction of their original density. It's structural duct tape, strong enough to hold, but nothing close to what was there before. Now compare that to what happens inside an axolotl. The axolotl is a salamander native to the lakes of central Mexico. It can regenerate its legs, its tail, its spinal cord, parts of its heart, and even sections of its brain. Not rough approximations, perfect copies. When an axolotl loses a limb, the cells at the wound site do something human cells almost never do. They de-differentiate. That means adult specialized cells, muscle cells, bone cells, skin cells, reverse their own development. They rewind themselves back into something resembling stem cells. These de-differentiated cells form a structure called a blastema, a mound of raw, unspecialized tissue sitting at the wound site like a biological blank page. And from that blastema, the limb regrows. Bone, nerves, blood vessels, muscle, skin, all of it, in the right place, in the right order, with the right connections. The axolotl doesn't just heal, it rebuilds from scratch. So the question isn't really why can the axolotl do this? The question is why can't you? And the answer is not that you're missing the equipment. You have almost every gene the axolotl uses to regenerate. The instructions are in your genome. They've been conserved across hundreds of millions of years of vertebrate evolution. You inherited them from the same ancient ancestor the axolotl did. But in your body, most of those genes are suppressed. And the reason they're suppressed leads to one of the strangest trade-offs in all of biology. In 2012, a team of researchers at the Wistar Institute in Philadelphia was studying a strain of mice called MRL mice. These mice were different from any normal lab mouse. When researchers punched small holes through their ears for identification tagging, the holes closed completely. Not scarred over, closed. New cartilage, new skin, new hair follicles, as if the wound had never existed. The team, led by Heber-Katz, wanted to know what made MRL mice different. What they found was a single gene, P21. P21 is a tumor suppressor. Its job in your body is to stop damaged cells from dividing uncontrollably. When a cell's DNA is damaged, P21 activates and halts the cell cycle. It forces the cell to either repair itself or die. This is one of your body's most critical defenses against cancer. In MRL mice, P21 was inactive, and without it, their cells could do something remarkable. They could de-differentiate, just like an axolotl cells. They could rewind themselves, form blastema-like structures, and rebuild tissue from scratch. But here's the cost. Without P21, those mice were more vulnerable to uncontrolled cell growth. The same mechanism that allowed regeneration also opened the door to cancer. And this is where the trade-off becomes clear. Evolution didn't remove your ability to regenerate because it was useless. It removed it because it was dangerous. The more freedom a cell has to divide, change, and rebuild, the more freedom it has to become cancerous. Regeneration and cancer are two sides of the same biological coin. The very genes that would let you regrow a finger are the same genes that, if left unchecked, could grow a tumor. Your body made a choice, or more precisely, natural selection made it over millions of years. Lock down cell division, restrict de-differentiation, scar instead of rebuild, survive long enough to reproduce, even if it means never regenerating anything complex again. And the evidence for this trade-off shows up everywhere in your biology. Human fetuses can regenerate. In the first trimester, a fetus can heal wounds without any scarring at all. The tissue regenerates perfectly. Fetal skin has low levels of the inflammatory response that drives scar formation in adults. As the immune system matures and becomes more aggressive, that regenerative ability disappears. Your body traded regeneration for a stronger immune defense. Children can regrow fingertips. It's been documented repeatedly in medical literature since the 1970s. If a child under the age of roughly 10 loses the tip of a finger above the last joint, and the wound is left open rather than surgically closed, the fingertip will often regenerate completely. Nail, bone, skin, nerve, all of it. But only above the last joint, and only in children. By adulthood, it's gone. Your liver can regenerate up to 75% of its own mass. If a surgeon removes a large section, the remaining tissue will grow back to nearly full size within weeks. But it's not true regeneration. The liver doesn't rebuild its original architecture. It compensates with new cell growth that restores function but not form. Every one of these examples follows the same pattern. Your body has regenerative capacity. It's just throttled, held back, kept on a leash by tumor suppressors, immune responses, and genetic switches that prioritize survival over repair. But that's only half the story, because some scientists believe the answer isn't just cancer suppression. It's something even more fundamental: energy. In 2019, researchers at Harvard and the MDI Biological Laboratory published a study identifying a set of genetic regulators that control regeneration across species. They compared gene expression in two animals known for strong regeneration, the axolotl and the zebrafish, and found a shared network of genes that activate during limb or fin regrowth. Humans have these same genes, but in humans they're regulated differently. The switches that activate them in a salamander stay off in a human. And the researchers proposed that this isn't just about cancer risk, it's about energy. Regeneration is extraordinarily expensive. Regrowing a limb requires massive amounts of cellular energy, sustained over weeks or months. For a cold-blooded amphibian with a slow metabolism and low caloric needs, the cost is manageable. For a warm-blooded mammal with a brain consuming 20% of its total energy budget, the cost may simply be too high. Think about what regrowing a single human finger would actually require. Every bone segment rebuilt cell by cell, every tendon restrung, every nerve fiber reconnected across centimeters of new tissue, finding its way back to the exact right target in the spinal cord. Every blood vessel branching into the precise capillary network needed to feed the new structure. Your body would need to sustain that construction project for weeks, while still running a heart, a liver, an immune system, and the single most energy-hungry brain in the animal kingdom, all on the same power supply. Something had to be cut, and regeneration was the feature that got dropped. So here's where you actually are in the engineering diagram. You're running a body that chose cancer suppression over tissue rebuilding, immune defense over scar-free healing, a high-energy brain over the ability to regrow what you've lost. Every scar on your body is a record of that trade-off. Every missing tooth, every damaged joint, every nerve that never reconnected, all of it is the cost of the other systems that kept you alive long enough to be here watching this video. The axolotl can regrow its leg, but it can't think about why. You can think about why, but you can't regrow anything. The genes are still in there. Every single one of them, sitting in your DNA like archived code that was never deleted, just commented out, switched off by a body that decided a long time ago that the risk of turning them back on was worse than living without them. You're not missing the blueprint. You're running a version where the best features were disabled on purpose. And the reason they were disabled is the same reason you're still alive to wonder about it.